Hey everybody, it's me Edward Jones back with a new video. Today we're finally doing a video on reloading shotgun slugs by hand. Well, I guess however else you reload them. I don't have an automated setup, so it goes without saying they're gonna be done by hand. But anyway, the problem I ran into when I was, because I had to do a couple of these before I decided to do a video. I had to figure out how to do the process right. You need a roll crimp. So like this is a regular Winchester slug, so with the just regular Foster slugs with the hollow point. And this is roll crimped. So to get a roll, so when you're reloading Foster type slugs, as opposed to Lyman slugs, which look just like the type that you shoot out of a pellet gun, use a roll crimp because it can hold the pressure at the right moment and release it at the, right when the pressure gets high enough. It releases it properly and send it down the barrel. I had to find a way to roll crimp these. Plus, also because all I had left were these, regular standard folded crimps that I already normally use for buckshot. So I found two different ways. First thing I tried was this. This is by Ballistic Products Exact Roll, and it has two rollers on the inside. I've seen some that most of the ones I've seen only had one roller. This one has two. I've seen some that has four, which I guess would be more for if you need to really get, really want to crank some slugs out, you can use that. But this right here works pretty well. But this works best with hulls that are roll crimp specific. Because I only have these as of right now, I had to stop for a while. But then I remember I ordered this back in April, and it spent like 5 months in shipping. This came from Russia. This is the box it came in, and it didn't really come with anything else. It was the box. That's all it had inside the box. So it was pretty self-explanatory. That's what it did. But for those of you who read Cyrillic, maybe you can translate that for me. This is the tool that I use, and I found out that this thing works really well with roll crimping folded crimped hulls. So once I tried a few. So there's some that I made right. There's one I made right here. It's roll crimp. I figured it was, it made pretty good shell. So I'm gonna basically make a few right here on camera. This is the powder I'm using. High Score 800X. About 32 grains of this. And I like this powder because it doesn't leak out like the IMR. What is it, 7625 that I use for my buckshot loads. This stuff it goes through the charge bar pretty well with basically very minimal leakage. So I got my hull already resized and primed. I still got the same load all number 2 made by Lee since 2011. In fact, I've even been using the same primers that I had since 2011. So I got my powder charge. Next thing I have to do is I got these wads. These are, let's see, these are Clay Buster wads. They're a replacement for the Winchester WAA 12 hulls. I'm sorry, wads. And for this recipe, I got to take an X-Acto knife. I gotta cut the petals off. I'm gonna do that right now. Not very difficult to do. Well, you have a good X-Acto knife with the right blade. You can cut these things off pretty effortlessly. It should look like that when you're done. That goes in. That goes all the way down. Also, to note, when you're choosing a hull to use for your slugs, even for buckshot or birdshot, there's a powder cup on the inside. Some is either a cork base or cardboard base inside. I know the Federal ones are more cardboard. The Winchester will be nylon. There are walls on the inside. If they are too high, you can't use wads with a base like this because it will interfere with compression. Basically, when you put it together, if this inside walls are too long, it can cause disruption with the loading process, and it can also basically mess up your hulls and just be wasting supplies. So whenever you're reloading, always consult the manual to find out what's the best hull for the recipe you want to use. Next thing I gotta do is I gotta put a fiber wad. And this is another one from Ballistic Products. Get this bag full of these are preconditioned wads, which will be followed then by these little cardboard disc. It's to help with, I believe it's to help with taking up more space, and to help with having a proper seal of all the gases when the shell is being fired. So it goes like this. Like that on the inside, if you can see that. It doesn't have to be seated. It doesn't have to be seated all the way. Just down enough. Then take one of these 1/8 inch disc. And seat in like that. Then I'll take my Foster type slug. This is a QA slug, 1 ounce. Maybe just kind of drop it in there. Sometimes if it's too high, I can push down with the reloader. Just kind of compress it down a bit more. And what I also tend to do is I'll take a factory slug and kind of match it along with the ones I'm hand loading to make sure I have a proper clearance comparison. Because sometimes these holes will be different lengths, so I will at least use the height of the factory one compared to what I have in front of me. Next, what I'll do is I'll take this very thin disc and I put that on top. I'll load that on top of the slug like that, and I'm going to put it right here. The way this works is basically this has 3, not really rollers, but they have these 3 raised sections that will basically crimp this as the ram is being pushed in. So like that. And a reloaded slug. All in all, I kind of like this. Like I said, I really do like this device because it helps me to load slugs. Basically, with if I don't have roll crimp holes, I can use the folded holes to make slugs. So I'm not really impeded from making ammunition. So I'm making another one for you guys. I'm making it at a pace that I wouldn't normally move at. I will say that one thing I noticed that was interesting during all this, like during this buying, all the buying that's been going on, the last thing I remember seeing online were large rifle primers, muzzle loading primers, shotgun shell primers, and large pistol primers. I'm not trying to set a speed record, I'm just moving at a little bit faster pace. Which you don't really want to rush when you're doing this kind of stuff. You want to kind of take your time to reduce the chance of messing something up. Thankfully, I've never had a kaboom. A little bit of power leak out. I'll put it back in there. I've never had a kaboom with anything that I've reloaded, so I'm very thankful for that. If you're wondering where you can get these fiber wads and these shot cards, I found those I got those from the muzzle loading section at Sportsman's Warehouse. So if you're ever in the hunt for this kind of stuff, you probably find them in kind of the same area. I will say, I always thought it was interesting that shotgun slugs were always cheaper than buckshot. Normally, I remember going to the store, I would see buckshot around like maybe $5.99 a box for a box of 5. The slugs would be like around $4.99. Just like that. And this the crimp looks a little, it may look a little haggard right there, but this will still cycle in a shotgun. So it's not as pretty as the factory roll crimp, but it gets the job done, and they're about the same length. This is what I made. You see it's kind of chewed up at the top, but it will still shoot. It's a herder's hole. I probably shouldn't have used this hole because this one had, I just found out late after reloading this one, the sidewalls, like I mentioned before, are a little higher on the inside. So, but it's still, even though it's still reloaded properly, I probably wouldn't want to do this for for most of what I'm reloading. Here's a Remington factory roll crimp hull that I use the exact roll on, and you see that it does hold the slug in place. It's kind of, everything's pretty snug. Here's what I did. It's a little loose, which is kind of why I decided to start putting shot cards on top of the holes, just to kind of on top of the slug, just to kind of keep the slug a little more snug in place and to keep it from rattling. But this one, I would say this one's still safe to shoot. Just a little loose like that. Here's another one that's in good shape. Everything's pretty tightly fit, snug. I did this with the exact roll as well. Another reason why I like to use these little shot cards on the top of the slug. This is the thinnest one that came in the pack. Is because when you're roll crimping these, if the tip of the slug sticks out too far, it contacts the inside of this roller and starts to kind of it starts to chew the top of the slug up a bit. So I got this right here that works as kind of as a cushion to keep the slug from getting chewed up. I don't know if you can see right there on this one that I did. The slug is not. It's not. I don't think it really affects performance, but it's just something I was just wary of when I started roll crimping on this device. Then this kind of reminds me of an apple core, kind of like an apple peeler, or apple core. But hey, it works very nicely. I got it off of eBay. Like I said, I think it cost me around $29 and change. It just took a long time for me to get it because of everything that's been going on, and it coming from Russia. So, you know what? I'll do one more for you guys. Let's see. See, I think the hull in this one should be as good. This is one of the high brass ones. A lot of people ask me when I reload shotgun shells, do I ever have any issues with using low brass holes for my buckshot? And truth be told, no. Really, the brass height was really just to let you know what type of power charge we're getting. It wasn't really providing much reinforcement. Though I mean, not saying that it couldn't provide the reinforcement, just that it wasn't really something that was, there's not much of an emphasis on it had to be high brass. It could be low brass and still hold a charge that will send lead down range at around 1325 feet per second. Again, cut the petals off, just kind of smooth it out on top. And I did test fire these slugs. I did a video a while back, the last shooting video I did with my buddy out in the woods when we were shooting the shockwave. One of the things we did shoot were slugs that I hand loaded, and they pack a wallop. Wish we had something with a stock out there that day, but we were happy overall that everything went well. Also, if you're using the lead load all #2, when you're reloading these fiber wads, sometimes you'll get like these you get a bit of the fiber that kind of cores off from the side. It's no biggie. You just put it on top. It's not going to affect anything. They're cut oversized so that you get a nice snug seal on the inside of the barrel as the round goes off. Did a pretty good job on these slugs too. Height comparison. Shot cart, real thin shot cart on top of the slug. Now a roll cart. Like that. Looks good. Let's see. Height comparison. Roughly the same. I'll probably maybe print this down a little bit more. I would say when you're using this, take your time. And there we go, we got a slug. Well, that's my video. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Please leave a comment section. If you got any questions about about the process, about why I chose certain tools, why I chose certain recipes, feel free to ask. I used just to reiterate, I used the Lyman 5th edition shot shell reloading handbook. Got it right here. And I remember back in 2011 when I wanted to start reloading, the first two things I bought was this book and the lead load all #2. So I knew I wanted to do my homework before I attempted to load anything. Make sure I was minimizing any risk of injuring myself and others. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to help out with the channel so I can do more projects like this and have more content for you guys, just go to my YouTube homepage, look for the Give Up That Cheese button. It'll take you to PayPal, and you can donate any amount you would like. Any gripes, complaints, send me a PM. I'll see what I can do to address them. Also, share your thoughts. If you have any experience with reloading shotgun shells, especially shotgun slugs, leave a comment in the comment section, or leave a link to a video that you want to share. That's my video, reloading some Lyman slugs with the lead load on #2. I'm Edward Jones. You guys take care, be safe, and God bless.